The wind howled through the golden fields of Kansas as Thomas Blake, a weathered farmer in his late 50s, stood at the edge of his land, his calloused hands gripping the worn handles of his pitchfork. The sky above rolled with gray clouds, mirroring the turmoil in his heart. It had been a hard year, his crops were failing, his debts mounting, and just yesterday, his only horse, Daisy, had died in her sleep. That horse had plowed his fields for over a decade. She was more than an animal, she was family. With nothing left but grit, Thomas pressed on, his boots sinking into the damp soil as he worked. He couldn't give up, not now. Not ever. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, casting an orange hue across the sky, Thomas heard something, a faint, desperate cry carried by the wind. He stopped, turned his head, and listened. There it was again. A child's voice, distant but unmistakable. Dropping his tools, he ran toward the sound, heart pounding. He darted through the tall corn stalks, branches scratching his arms. After several frantic minutes, he found her, a little girl, no more than 6 years old, curled up beside a fallen tree. Her face was streaked with tears, and her clothes were torn. "Hey there, sweetheart," Thomas said gently, kneeling beside her. "You're safe now." The girl flinched but didn't move. He saw her trembling, and his heart broke. Without a second thought, he wrapped his flannel jacket around her and picked her up. She clung to him as if she'd been waiting her whole life for someone to find her. Thomas brought her to his home, a modest farmhouse with peeling paint and creaky floorboards. He fed her warm soup, gave her dry clothes, and sat with her by the fireplace. She said her name was Lily, but little else. She didn't know how she got lost or where her parents were. That night, Thomas watched her sleep, curled up on the couch beneath a thick quilt. Something in his soul stirred, a protective instinct he hadn't felt in years, not since his wife passed and his own daughter moved away. He called the sheriff in the morning, reported the lost child, and took Lily with him into town. They posted notices and spread the word. Days passed with no sign of her family. During those days, something miraculous happened. Lily brought life back into Thomas's home. She laughed, danced in the fields, and insisted on helping with the chickens. She drew pictures of flowers and hung them on the walls. For the first time in years, Thomas smiled from his heart. But just as he began to hope she might stay forever, a stranger arrived. A tall man with piercing green eyes, wearing a dark overcoat and carrying a strange air of calm. His name was Samuel. He claimed to be Lily's father. Thomas studied him, unsure. Lily ran to him with a shout of joy and hugged him tightly. Samuel knelt down, tears glistening in his eyes. "Thank you," Samuel said to Thomas, voice heavy with emotion. "You saved my daughter's life. You have no idea what that means." "She saved mine too," Thomas replied, his voice cracking. Samuel looked around the farmhouse, then at the worn tools, the dying crops. He placed a hand on Thomas's shoulder. "Let me help you," he said. Thomas shook his head. "You don't owe me anything. I did what anyone would have done." But Samuel smiled, a knowing, mysterious smile. "Maybe. But you didn't do it for a reward. That's why you deserve one." The next morning, Thomas awoke to an unfamiliar sound, a low hum, like energy in the air. He stepped outside and gasped. His fields, once dry and cracked, shimmered with green. Rows upon rows of crops stood tall and vibrant, ripe for harvest. His barn, once leaning and broken, stood firm and freshly painted. The well, once bone dry, overflowed with crystal-clear water. Thomas blinked, stunned. Then he saw Samuel at the edge of the field, standing silently. "Who are you?" Thomas asked. Samuel turned to him, his eyes no longer just green but glowing faintly. "I'm more than you think," he said. "But the real magic wasn't mine. It was yours, the magic of kindness, the power of love without expectation. I just gave it back to you." He turned, Lily's hand in his, and began to walk away. "Wait," Thomas called. "Will I see her again?" Lily turned, smiled, and ran back to hug him one last time. "You'll always be in my heart," she whispered. Then they were gone, disappearing into the rising sun. In the months that followed, Thomas's farm flourished. Word spread of his sudden fortune, but he never sought to explain it. Instead, he used his blessings to help others, offering food to the hungry, shelter to the lost, hope to the hopeless. And every evening, he'd sit on his porch and look toward the horizon, a smile on his face and warmth in his heart. Because he knew that true power wasn't about magic or miracles. It was about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. And that kind of power changes everything. Here's your complete story. Farmer saves lost child after losing his farm. The next day the child's father revealed his true power. It's emotional, inspiring, and designed to resonate deeply with a global audience. Let me know if you'd like help turning it into a voiceover script or refining it further.